Hello folks, today we're going to see a demonstration of McAfee tools integration with Demisto. We're going to review all the integrations Demisto security platform has with McAfee products and then see certain example playbooks live in action. So let's quickly review certain tools that we integrate with. So we integrate with McAfee ESM, which is the McAfee SIM, native integration with DXL as the data exchange layer, as it's called, McAfee Threat Intelligence Exchange, McAfee EPO, McAfee Database Activity Monitoring, McAfee Active Response, Threat Defense, Advanced Threat Defense, that is ATT, that is the McAfee Sandbox, and then McAfee NSM. All the products are integrated using the McAfee API and available in the current version of Demisto product, that is 3.1. So when we look at McAfee or any other integration in Demisto, the way it works is each integration exposes certain commands. Like for example, the DXL integration right here exposes the command for pushing a certain domain to DXL fabric, pushing a hash to DXL fabric, pushing an IP or a URL, or sending any other arbitrary event to the DSL fabric. These commands could be used in different playbooks, and these commands go across different products. Let's review another product. For example, if we were to looking at the commands from MAR, we are seeing here MAR, we can do a search with McAfee Active Response, and we're going to see a very powerful playbook to collect really rich data about an endpoint using McAfee Active Response, fully automated. So we're going to see some of these commands in action anyways. On the network side, the integration collects very rich data from the NSM, like getting the alerts, getting attacks, getting domains, getting the policy, even fetching the PCAP file given a certain event, updating the alerts, sensor list, and a bunch of other actions. So let's actually take a view of certain playbooks right here. Out of the box, Demisto ships with numerous playbooks already integrated with McAfee. We're going to look in depth at this one particular playbook, which is McAfee Endpoint Data Collection Playbook. So let's review this playbook quickly and see what it does. So when the playbook triggers, it takes a host name as one of the inputs. So it takes the host name as the input. And then with that input, it collects the host information from EPO, if EPO is enabled. If MAR is enabled, it starts to collect very rich data from using MAR about this endpoint. It collects the scheduled tasks, host processes, host services, command line history on this host, installed software in this host, startup items, bunch of network information, including the DNS cache, the current flows, network shares, interactive sessions, so on and so forth. All of this information, if collected by an analyst, usually would easily take 45 minutes to an hour, even per endpoint. And you will see how we can automate this, and we can automate this not only on one point, but a set of endpoints that you're trying to investigate. So that's one playbook. Let's take a look at another playbook. We'll do a quick search on the playbooks with DXL. So here's a playbook which you can either enrich McAfee DXL using a third-party sandbox. Here we have a playbook which takes a file using Wildfire, Palo Alto Wildfire, it'll detonate it, and based on what is found, if the file is found to be malicious, we will push that information onto DXL. So this is a much simpler playbook, but very powerful one in case you use a third-party sandbox and want to integrate all files that are detonated in a third-party sandbox, those bad hashes to be pushed onto DXL. So those are a couple of playbooks that are built in. There are many other playbooks that are built in out of the box. For example, ATD detonate a file. So take a file, detonate into ATD. EPO compliance, checking whether EPO is compliant and current with the DAT file updates. Many other playbooks there, including a IOC hunt. So using threat intelligence and exchange, going and looking for an IOC and hunting across your environment. So bunch of playbooks built in across different McAfee integrations. Let's go ahead and close this interface out and build and run a playbook across an incident. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new incident and then run the playbook which we looked at, which was the endpoint data collection, against that incident to collect very rich data. Now, typically this would happen if there was an alert coming in from one of the sources like McAfee antivirus or another security tool and automatically collect rich data with MAR, but we're going to manually trigger it. So let's create an incident. I'm just giving it a name, McAfee demo endpoint collection. And I'm going to choose a playbook. Again, as I mentioned, this would typically happen automatically, but here we are going to just go ahead and manually trigger it. And we don't need to provide other pieces. And we're going to provide it a label with system to run it on. So we're going to pick it up system and call it admin-pc. That is the name of the computer that we want to search in MAR and get a bunch of other useful data from there. So the playbook starts to run. As you can see, this particular playbook just started to run, and it's going to go across EPO and MAR to get very, very rich data. So we are watching this live as it runs and collects the data. This could be completely in the background and being run on multiple different systems. But as you can see, it started to go to each endpoint and collect very rich data. And here, let's see what has been done so far while it's still running in action. So first we check whether EPO is enabled. Yes. Looking here, the information from EPO about this particular system, we went ahead and got details about admin-pc. We found a lot of details from EPO here about the system exact processor, the computer name, the work group it is part of, the IP address it has, subnet mask. Very, very rich information, whatever EPO has. If you want to see entirely full table in a bigger view, that is very easy to do as well. And you're able to quickly see all the information about that system right there. Going back, let's see what else do we have here. So from MAR, we are able to connect both the system information and the network information and the user information. So let's go all these three different pillars and see what we have collected. We have collected the scheduled tasks. So these are all the scheduled tasks on the particular system. And all the details about it. So Microsoft Windows, there's a bunch of local services that are running and a bunch of other information that we have right here. Then moving on, we can look at the host processes. What processes are running on the system? These are all the processes that are there. Host services. So here we see all the services running on the system, including volume shadow copy, Windows event logs, superfetch, print spooler, all the services on that endpoint that are running, we fetch those. Command line history, was there any command line things run on that system could be fetched. Installed software, this is all the software on that particular system, all the McAfee software that we see, the DXL, MAR itself, Microsoft pieces, looking in the larger window, very quickly figure out all the software that exists on this. So very easily, I'm able to review what's going on. Let's look at some of the network information. DNS cache information, we are able to quickly look at the details from there. Network shares, very important because some of these malware will use network share to spread itself. Here are the network shares. SQL and Windows is a network share that's shared. This is another share. There's some open shares here on this system. Looking at the interactive sessions, if there is any other information there. Network interfaces, what network interfaces exist and what IP address do they have, very, very quickly, and even the information about the network card. So pretty much whatever MAR knows, Demisto is able to quickly go get it, including the user information, including the logged in user, and this is the admin name, host user profiles, what are the different user profiles that exist on the system, other details right here, environmental variables that were not found, any of the USB attached storage, you name it. So pretty rich information which we were able to automatically fetch from MAR in a single step. So that's an example of how we can use McAfee Active Response and collect automatically very rich information about each host. And this could be run on a series of hosts. Now, let's try another incident. And now what we're going to try is actually the other playbook that we saw, which is we will use wildfire and push malicious hashes onto DXL if we find a malicious file. So here's another sample incident. So McAfee demo, push malicious hashes on DXL. So we're going to do this. We're going to choose our DXL playbook, enrich with a third-party sandbox, not ATD. Let's get the file, explode it in wildfire, get the results back, and send it to DXL. That's what we want to do, and this is what that playbook does. In this case, we can actually attach a file. So let's go ahead and pick up a file. I have this malicious doc file, which I'm going to drop right here and upload the file and go ahead and create the incident. So here is the new incident that just got created. And this particular incident goes ahead and detonates the file in wildfire and brings the results back. If there is any malicious file found, it pushes the result to DXL and closes the incident. So this is a very simple playbook, but quite helpful. So here we see that we are able to fetch the reputation for that file, and the reputation says it's bad, and we are able to quickly convict and then push the information to DXL. Let's look at the information in depth here. So when we do a wildfire detonate, this is the file that we uploaded. We went ahead and submitted the sample and then downloaded the wildfire report as well. So here's the wildfire report for that doc file, and it tells you exactly what happened, what process launched, what information happened. It is malware. It gives you the static analysis. So from an analyst perspective, analyst doesn't need to step out of Demisto. They are able to get this entire rich report about wildfire right there. And here in the system, the next step is, since we did find that file to be bad, push that information onto DXL. So we sent the DXL event with topic malicious file and sent the details about that malicious file and closed the incident. So we saw two example playbooks. One is where we took the file that was attached to an incident, detonated it in wildfire, and if it was malicious, pushed into DXL. Pretty simple. On the other hand, we looked at an incident where we collected extremely rich endpoint data from MAR in a completely automated manner. So these are two example playbooks that we have. Many other playbooks in the system, and we integrate with most of the McAfee popular products, including all the endpoint products. So thanks for watching the demo, and if you'd like more information or want to try the product, you can always do it with the Demisto free edition from the website. Thank you.